we don't really appreciate or even understand how revered South Africa is in the global stage. South Africa, I would argue, is one of the, if not the most, number one, respected country as it stands today. I'm not talking about previously, as it stands today. We're the most influential country globally. We're the most perfectly positioned country with everything that's currently happening, with all the instability that's currently happening right now globally. South Africa is the most perfectly positioned country in the world right now. And here's what I mean by this, right?
I don't think there's anyone who can say they haven't noticed that recently South Africa is one of the countries that everyone is interested in. A few years ago, the only people I can say were interested in South Africa were other African nations. Because South Africa is the country here in Africa. We are the best nation here in Africa. So it's only right when other African countries want to be like South Africa, showing interest in South Africa, the way we do things, how we managed to be one of the best countries in Africa. So that was not a surprise, because we are a role model country here in Africa. I mean, you cannot deny that. And if you want to deny that fact, come for me with facts and tell me which other country can do it like South Africa, So the people who were interested in us were other Africans. But lately, it seems as if the whole world is interested in South Africa. People in Asia, people in America, people in Europe, everyone is just speaking about South Africa. South Africa this, South Africa that, But it's as if us South Africans, we don't realize the power that South Africa has when it comes to geopolitics and other things. We don't realize that South Africa is one of the biggest countries, not only in Africa, but the world. Other people out there can see that South Africa is actually a powerhouse. Our moves prove that we are a powerhouse. But it's something that we forget as South Africans. We undermine our country, which is fair because we live here in South Africa. We see everything that is happening. We don't sugarcoat anything. We see the corruption, we see the crime, we see everything. So when we look at South Africa, we are looking at it from a perspective of people who are living in South Africa. But other people out there who are looking at South Africa from a bigger picture perspective can see that South Africa is actually a very, very powerful country. And I think it's about time we start moving as such as South Africans. I think it's about time we stop undermining ourselves. We stop thinking there's other countries who are better than us, even if there are those countries. But we are South Africa. We are a powerhouse. We are better than most countries. We need to realize the power that we have here in South Africa, because other people out there are seeing the power that South Africa has. But us as South Africans, it's as if we are ignoring that power. It's as if we think we are a just small boy country. We are not a small boy country. And a lot of people are starting to realize this thing slowly but surely. I started realizing it a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago. Up until today, I've been wondering, why is everyone speaking about South Africa? Every time I'm on social media, there's something that has to do with South Africa, or people from a certain corner of the world speaking about South Africa. So it's been a while I've noticed this thing. Now a lot of people are starting to notice this thing. People are starting to ask questions. Why does it seem like South Africa is a very powerful country? Other South Africans are starting to ask that question. Now I have a clip for you. Now, one of my friends sent me this clip on WhatsApp, and he said, Emmanuel, these are the things that you talk about on your channel. So I think this video might be interesting for you. So listen to what this man is saying. And when I was listening, I said, you know what? let me share this video to my audience, because this man is spitting facts. He's explaining exactly why it seems as if South Africa is a powerhouse. South Africa is everybody's focus. So this man is explaining that whole situation. Please listen to this man and then tell me on the comment section down below, what do you think about everything he said. Well, I don't know who this man is, because this video was just shared to me by my friend. He also doesn't know who the man is. I think he took the video from TikTok or somewhere. So if you know who this man is, please tell me on the comment section down below, or link his channel if he has a channel, or his TikTok account, so that I can go check out more of his videos, because I really liked what he said, and I think you are also going to like what he says, or at least you are going to disagree with him. And if you disagree with him, I will learn from you. But if you just enjoyed this video or you learned something new, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it. My name is Emmanuel, and this is Mzansi Versity, the place where we transform lives through knowledge and information. Let's meet again on another video.
Let me help you with the confusion. I strongly feel that South Africans, we're the only people in the world that are not aware of how powerful the South African brand is in geopolitics. We don't really appreciate or even understand how revered South Africa is in the global stage. South Africa, I would argue, is one of the, if not the most, number one, respected country as it stands today. I'm not talking about previously. As it stands today, we're the most influential country globally. We're the most perfectly positioned country with everything that's currently happening, with all the instability that's currently happening right now globally. South Africa is the most perfectly positioned country in the world right now. And here's what I mean by this, right? If you look at what's currently happening globally, there's a vacuum of power, right? There's a vacuum of leadership in global politics. Everything is Dir Makar, right? The only country right now that seems to have stability, the only country right now that seems to be standing for the greater good, the only country right now that seems to be, in a sense, pushing a noble cause is South Africa. And I say that with our stance with Palestine versus Israel. I say that with our stance with Morocco. I say that with our stance with Congo. We're the only country right now that's standing up to tyranny. We're the only country right now that is at the center of the geopolitics. We are in the G20. We are also in BRICS. We are also in SADC. We are literally at the center of everything. And how we are being positioned, you can see what's currently happening. And if you look at, for example, our relationships globally, we have full influence in Africa. Like, from an infrastructure perspective, every single country, like not every single country in Africa, most countries in Africa rely on South Africa for infrastructure. Due to what we did for Palestine, and also inviting Saudi Arabia, Iran, Ethiopia, and all the other countries in the Middle East as well as Africa into BRICS, that gave us influence in the Middle East, meaning we have influence and sway in the Middle East. We have very close ties with Russia, China. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have the second largest Indian population outside of India, meaning we have influence with India as well. We don't realize that as South Africa. We don't realize it. And what Trump has done in the global stage by embarrassing Ukraine, embarrassing Zelensky, and positioning themselves now as no longer the champions for the weak, and now they've positioned themselves as mercenaries sellswords who will only help you if you give them resources as well as your land, American reliability has diminished. No ally of America now believes that America serves the greater good. The only country right now that is well positioned to be viewed as representing the greater good is South Africa. And you're seeing that Europe is pivoting towards Africa, towards South Africa. It's the reason why they are now sanctioning Rwanda. They need South Africa. Because when South Africa speaks, the world listens. We won the ICJ case. We took on the most powerful alliance, which is the Zionist American alliance. And we beat them internationally. We are currently responsible for sanctioning Rwanda for what they're currently doing. So when South Africa speaks, the world listens. And that's why Zelensky is coming down now to South Africa, because they're realizing that the only country that has a voice, a credible voice, globally, is South Africa. And I want to give a shout out to, I think, J.S. Molloy, who actually who shared this insight, a lot of this insight with me. It really also helped unlock a lot of what I needed to say, and I actually understood a bit more. So yeah, guys, South Africa is actually bigger than you think.